Hello, my name is Samantha and I am the administrator here at Exotics of Ontario. Welcome to Freaky Friday. Cats. They make excellent pets. They're fairly independent. They are easy to maintain and take care of. They have low vet bills and they're nature's little assholes and they're so cute. So how can you just stay mad at them, right? Here you go. Some people, though, do like to invest their time and money into exotic looking cats. So they'll usually look for breeds like your Chinese Shorthair, Siamese, Egyptian Mau, or even your Bengals. And that's great. Those are all domesticated cats with exotic features. However, there are some people that do like to take it one step further and invest in what is called a serval cat. An African serval cat is a wild African serval mixed with a domesticated shorthair. And depending on the level that you get, depends on the wildness that is in that cat. We'll get into that later on, but everybody here knows that I love animals, especially exotics. I started an exotic page after all, and in saying that, African servals belong in the wild, and here are my top 10 reasons why they belong in the wild and not as your pets. Number 1, it is absolutely unsafe for the serval for you to have them as a pet. Servals are escape artists. They're very good at getting out of whatever you put them in. Your domesticated cats are fairly good at that. What do you think a cat the size of a medium-sized dog is going to be able to get in and out of? So they tend to get out a lot, and in doing that, they tend to get hit by cars, get attacked by other wild animals, or even die of starvation because they've never ever had that lesson in how to hunt and protect and defend themselves. So they only have the instinct of reaction versus action. So it is completely unsafe for you to have them because if and when they get out, they are almost impossible to get back alive. Number 2, they're wild animals. Yes, there are different levels from F1 to F7. However, most commonly bred is F1 to F5. Now, F1 is going to be your most wild version of this cat, and it's going to have up to 75% of African serval in this animal. They are the most expensive because they are the most wild animal that you can own. However, they are, again, a wild animal. And where do wild animals belong? In the wild. So I don't know what else to say about that. They belong in the wild. They're wild animals. Number 3, space. Again, these are medium-sized, dog-sized cats. Like, they're huge, and they need a lot of space for these wild animals to not feel stifled. When wild animals feel stifled or restricted, they tend to get aggressive. Just like anything else, really, even when you feel restricted and stifled, you get a little agitated, which can sometimes turn to aggression. When you have a wild animal, that agitation can turn to aggression just like that. Not just space, but you have to really lock down that space and make sure that they cannot escape it. So you can't keep them in an apartment because the apartment will not be big enough. And if you have a backyard, it needs to be a fully enclosed, caged-in backyard where they cannot get out of. And there's going to need to be concrete as well going down below the grass line to make sure that they cannot dig out. So it is a lot of work to house these animals. And Also, if you can't house them in a huge yard, you will have to walk them multiple times a day, more than you would typically walk a dog. So just very high maintenance when it comes to space and what they need to keep their energy levels maintained so that they don't turn aggressive from feeling agitated and stifled. Does that make sense? Number 4, they're not easily house trained. So it's very difficult to get them to use the litter. It's very difficult to get them to stop, marking their territory with their scent, spraying, things like that. So your house is gonna get very unruly and very smelly real quick. And if you have other felines in your house, they will start marking as well, because marking is actually a learned behavior. So even if you have fellow cats that are neutered, they may actually start learning to mark their territory if you have a serval come in and start marking up your house. So that's even more smell in your house. Just ends up becoming very toxic, ammonia-filled air in your living space. And I don't think I need to go into the health risks and what can happen to you breathing in ammonia 24/7. I think that's pretty straightforward. Number 5, they're jumpers. They're huge jumpers. Just like any other cat or feline out there. They love to jump. And because they are powerful and aggressive jumpers, they can actually cause quite a bit of harm to you, your children, other pets, things like that. And it just may be unintentional and even just through play, but because they're so powerful and so large, it can unintentionally cause damage within your household to you or anybody else. So that's also another risk you have to take into consideration. Number 6, their diet. Servals are opportunistic hunters in the wild, meaning they will eat anything from hares to lizards to birds to rabbits, anything small like that. They are known every once in a while to hunt down an antelope, but that is very rare. They typically stick to the smaller prey because they are only medium-sized wild cats. So in saying that, when you have them in a domestic situation, it's very, very hard to keep up with the proper maintenance of their diet. They are very protein rich in their diet, and again, that is a very expensive diet and very hard diet to maintain. So that is also another reason why they belong in the wild. Just along their diet alone is telling them that they don't belong in our homes. Number 7, there are no accredited sanctuaries in Canada to handle these cats. So this means that if and when someone comes to the conclusion that they cannot provide properly for these animals and they decide to surrender them, it means that these animals end up getting put down. That is not fair to the serval at all, because they did not ask to be bred, they did not ask to be brought into this world, and they did not ask to be your pet. And just because you cannot now take care of them because of whatever reasoning why, doesn't mean that it deserves to be put down. Number 8, unregulated breeding. In Canada, servals are not popular enough for the Canadian government to step in and say, hey, we need to regulate these cats, we need to create laws and make sure that they are bred and taken care of properly. In saying that, this means that farms now become available, and unguaranteed health and unregulated health, and you're not even guaranteed that when you pay that $12,000 for an F1 Serval, that you're actually getting an F1 Serval. For all you know, you could be getting an F5. So you're not even guaranteed to get what you're paying for. So that is why you should not be getting a Serval cat. It's never a guarantee that they're healthy or that they are what the breeder says that they are. Number 9, powerful teeth and claws. So not only are these guys powerful jumpers, they have powerful teeth and claws to go along with that powerful jumping. So even when you're just playing, they can really do a lot of damage to you, your children, and other pets. This is something you need to keep in mind when looking at purchasing or owning a wild animal. They can be unintentionally unpredictable. Last but not least, number 10. It's just simply not fair to the animal for you to selfishly keep it in your home. It is a wild animal. They belong in the wild, and if they cannot survive in the wild due to some sort of deformation or, lack of parents, whatever, loss of parents, they belong at that point in a rehabilitation center that can properly teach this animal how to be a wild animal and allow it to go back into the wild where it stays. Simply put it, it's just not fair to own a Serval cat. I hope everyone can see that these cats are beautiful and they belong in the wild. If you're feeling up for having a feline friend, even an exotic one, there are many domesticated breeds that can fulfill that wish. So definitely do your research if you're looking into getting a domesticated cat, because honestly, the exotic ones, it's not right to have them. It's not fair to have them. They are wild cats. So let's keep our wild cats where they belong, which is in the wild. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk tonight, and I really hope everyone's staying safe out there during these crazy and chaotic times, and I hope everyone had a good time and enjoyed learning why you should not own a Serval cat. Take care. Talk to you guys soon.